Thanks for joining us. You're watching ARIRANG News Break on this Friday, June 3rd. I'm Han-daeun in Seoul. We begin on National Defense Front. Seoul and Washington are voicing contrasting opinions about deployment of a U.S. missile defense system known as THAAD to South Korea. Much attention is now being drawn to the Shangri-La dialogue set to begin today in Singapore, where top military officials from the two countries will meet. Connie Kim reports.
The South Korean government says the potential deployment of the U.S. missile defense system will not be on the agenda at talks this weekend between the defense chiefs of the two allies. Seoul's defense ministry was forced to issue a denial after U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter said he expected the issue of the THAAD deployment to come up during his meeting Saturday with South Korean Defense Minister Han Min-gu. Carter had told reporters that THAAD was not something the two allies needed to discuss too much because the plans were already in motion. He also emphasized that the deployment was an alliance decision. Shortly after North Korea launched a long-range ballistic missile in early February, the two allies announced it would officially enter negotiations for the deployment of the defense system that can counter the growing missile threats posed by Pyongyang. A joint working group for the THAAD deployment launched in early March, and the two sides have been discussing the possible location, costs, and environmental issues of the system. Neither South Korea nor the United States have revealed any details of how far talks have progressed thus far. Connie Kim, ARIRANG News.
The top economic policymakers from Korea and the U.S. are scheduled to meet in Seoul this afternoon. Korean Finance Minister Yoo Il-ho will sit down for talks with Jacob Lew, the U.S. Treasury Secretary. With no set agenda for the meeting, all eyes are on whether sticky topics such as currency issues, sanctions on North Korea, and Korea joining the Trans-Pacific Partnership will be discussed. Earlier in the day, Lew held closed-door talks with Bank of Korea Governor Lee Ju-yeol, and not much is known yet about the outcome of the meeting. The Treasury Secretary is in Korea ahead of the U.S.-China strategic and economic dialogue to be held in Beijing next week. The Korean government has rolled out a new set of policies to counter the serious and day-to-day threat of fine dust. The policies were discussed at a meeting today chaired by Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-ahn and attended by 8 ministers, including the ministers of finance and the environment. The environment minister says diesel cars produced before 2005 will be banned by 2019, and the government will expand the number of eco-friendly cars from 2.6% to 30% by 2020. The government also pledged to improve the country's air quality to match that of Europe. In addition, coal-powered thermal plants that are over 40 years old will be shut down, and new power plants will face strict environmental standards. Now to France, where President Park Geun-hye is carrying on her state visit. A series of Korean cultural events has been launched in the European nation to complement the president's visit, from exhibitions and performances to what's being billed as the world's largest K-pop concert. Lee Ji-won shows us the K-culture fever in Paris.
K-pop stars SHINee, Block B, and more were in France on Thursday night to kick off the week-long K-Con festival. The concert hall in Paris was jammed with K-pop fans from around Europe who were singing along and screaming themselves hoarse. Billed as the world's largest K-pop concert, it was organized to celebrate the 130th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Korea and France. And in a sign of the significance of the occasion, the concert was attended by a special VIP guest, President Park Geun-hye. The Korean leader is in the country on a state visit, and she was there to highlight the importance of cultural events and exchanges between the two countries. Speaking after the event, designed as part concert, part expo, she said that it's showcases like these that are helping to make Korean culture known to people around the world. Later on, she and members of pop group SHINee also took a moment to sample Korean treats.
세계적으로 인기를 끄는 샤이니에서 이렇게 이런 걸 소개하고 그러니까 아마 붕어빵이나 여기 디저트들도 인기가 폭발하지 않을까.
KCON is just one of the cultural events organized to coincide with President Park's visit to France. The convention is a 7-day music and cultural event being held in 9 major cities, including Paris, Nantes, and Nice, to highlight both traditional and contemporary aspects of Korean culture. Other cultural events going on during the president's visit include screenings of Korean dramas and movies, fashion shows, and food events, as well as performances featuring classical and contemporary Korean music, including pansori music storytelling and 사물놀이 percussion. 이지원, 아리랑 뉴스.
And that does it for now. Check out more of the day's headlines here on ARIRANG throughout the day. Thank you for watching.